For more on the ramifications of today's announcement and the future of Afghanistan, we're joined by Jamie Metzl. He's Executive Vice President of the Asia Society and Project Director for its Afghanistan-Pakistan Task Force. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
Given the fraud, the widespread fraud that there was during the first round of voting and the low voter turnout, how do we know that this couldn't happen during the second round of voting? What's to stop this from reoccurring?
We don't, but we need to do an analysis, and the international community needs to do an analysis of what was the problem in the first round. And in the first round, there was a structure that was in some ways inherently unfair. First and foremost among the problems was that the Afghan Independent Election Commission, the body that oversaw the elections in Afghanistan, had 7 commissions, all of whom were selected by one candidate, Hamid Karzai. And so going forward, we will need to have some process for ensuring the impartiality of the IEC. So that's one thing that can be done.
Ultimately, do you think that we're heading for some kind of power-sharing agreement between Hamid Karzai and his nearest rival, Dr. Abdullah?
I think it's very, very possible, because right now in the run-up to the second round of elections, there are a lot of variables. If everybody votes in Afghanistan, it's likely that Hamid Karzai will win. But we don't know what turnout is going to be, so Hamid Karzai is afraid that if the Pashtuns don't vote, he could lose. And so within these next 2 weeks, there's a real possibility that some kind of power-sharing deal could be made. And I know that there are many people, both in Afghanistan and in the international community, who are focusing on this possibility.
There is a perception that President Karzai was complicit in some of the fraud. What are your thoughts on this? Was he?
Well, I was an election monitor during the first rounds based in Kabul. And there were all kinds of stories about complicity of the Karzai government in the fraud. As you know, about a third of all of the ballots were thrown out. And so those numbers suggest that something very systemic, there was a very systemic approach to this fraud, which certainly implicates many people associated with the Karzai regime.
So if that perception still exists, I mean, what are the chances that Karzai can ever be accepted as a credible, legitimate president? Well,
Karzai is in a deep hole. Not only were the elections seen as illegitimate or not very legitimate, but there are major problems of government corruption. The Karzai's own brother is seen as being one of the most corrupt people in Afghanistan, and yet he is the governor of a major province. So whatever happens going forward, if Hamid Karzai is going to be part of this new administration, he has his work cut out for him. There needs to be a credible election. There needs to be a major crackdown on government corruption and a major focus on governance, because there's been a major failure of governance in Afghanistan.
All right, Jamie Metzl, thank you very much.
Thank you.